If as a beginner you manage to land an interview in this very, very crazy job market, then you should prepare for it as much as you can. In this video, I'm going to be answering 10 easy JavaScript interview questions for beginner, and yeah, even for intermediate. Someone can ask you this anytime just to test your JavaScript knowledge. So let's get right into it. What is JavaScript? JavaScript is a high-level dynamic programming language that is primarily used to add interactivity and behavior to websites. It is the almighty third of the trio: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So JavaScript allows developers to respond to user actions. If you are a user and you can click a button and something happens, then most likely JavaScript is doing some work there. So JavaScript helps developers to do so many things: respond to user action, validate form inputs, display alerts, animations, and so on and so forth, all in the browser. Initially, JavaScript was only used in client-side environment, that is in the browser. But with Node.js now, JavaScript can now also run on the server side. So this means that JavaScript can be used to build full-stack applications. So you can use it to write the front end and to write the back end. Is JavaScript the same as the Java? No. I read somewhere that Java is to JavaScript as car is to carpet. They are totally different programming languages. There are so many differences between both of them. Their syntax is obviously very different. I write JavaScript, so I think JavaScript has a bit of a relaxed syntax compared to Java, or maybe it's just me, but I think so. JavaScript is a loosely typed programming language. Java is strongly typed, and Java is majorly used for backend, while JavaScript can be used for both frontend and backend. There are so many differences between both, so they are not the same. And yes, I understand the whole idea of the name looking alike. Apparently, JavaScript was initially not even called JavaScript. It was called LiveScript. I don't know why they didn't stick to that, but now we have Java and then we have JavaScript, which are like two different programming languages. What is type coercion in JavaScript? Type coercion refers to JavaScript's ability to automatically convert values from one data type to another. We have different data types in JavaScript, right? And somehow JavaScript can automatically convert them from one to another. It can convert a value from one data type to another. And this happens implicitly. So you don't even have to tell it to do that. For example, if you are trying to add a string to a number, JavaScript will automatically convert the number to a string and then perform concatenation instead of addition. So string 5 plus 1 will give us string 5 1. Why this may seem like it's a bit helpful, it can cause a lot of problem, especially for beginners. What are truthy and falsy values? In JavaScript, truthy values are values that are considered true when they are evaluated in a Boolean context, while falsy values are considered false when they are evaluated in a Boolean context. So JavaScript can use type coercion to convert any number to a Boolean, or any value rather to a Boolean when needed. In JavaScript, there are some major falsy values: false, 0, empty string, null, not a number, undefined. All of these are falsy values. Every other value apart from these are considered truthy values. The understanding of falsy and truthy values is very important when you're using conditions or your logic depends on some kind of condition, some form of conditions. So yes, what is the difference between null and undefined in JavaScript? In JavaScript, both null and undefined are used to represent the absence of a value, but they are used in slightly different scenarios, right? So a variable is undefined if it has been declared, but a value has not been assigned to it yet. For example, if we have let x, we just declared x, there's no value assigned to it. If we try to check for x, we're going to get undefined. So undefined is the default value for uninitialized variables. On the other hand, null is a value that represents the intentional absence of any value. So as a developer, you want to explicitly say that this variable has no value. You are explicitly saying it has no value. Then you can assign it to null. You can say let y equals null. Why they are similar conceptually, they both mean something is absent. Undefined is more about something not being defined, the value not being assigned, while null is more intentional than that. So null means I am intentionally leaving this variable empty. So it's way more intentional than undefined. What is the difference between double equal and triple equal in JavaScript? The double equal operator in JavaScript is known as the loose equality, while the triple equal operator is known as the strict equality. The double equal, we compare two values for equality after converting them to a common data type. So it performs type coercion first before it compares. So if you check for string 5 double equals number 5, you will get a true, because what is happening behind the scene is that JavaScript will automatically convert string 5 to a number and then compare both. Triple equal, on the other hand, is stricter. That is, it does not allow for type coercion. It compares both value and type directly. So if I say string 5 triple equal number 5, I will get false, because they are of the same value, but they are not of the same data type. So triple equal is more strict when it comes to comparison than double equal. Question 7. What will be the output of the following code? So we have A equals to array 1, 2, 3, and now we say B equals to A. We then say B.push 4. Now console.log A. What would we get? What would be the answer? So the output of this code will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? In JavaScript, arrays and other non-primitive types like objects, they are passed by reference, not by value. I think I mentioned this before. So they refer to memory space, not value. So when we tried to assign B to A, we said, oh, B equals to A. What happened was that A and B now started to point to the same array in memory. It's not as if B created its own array. No, they're literally both pointing to the same array in memory. And that was why when we updated B, that same change reflected in A. So if you want to create a separate copy, you can do a shallow copy. You can use like the spread operator. But if you assign directly, you are not creating another copy. You are still pointing to the same space in memory. Question 8. What does this evaluate to? First of all, this question demonstrates operation precedence. So we have two operators. We have the addition operator, we have the multiplication operator, but one operator will take more priority. So multiplication will take more priority. So it will be evaluated first. So we have 3 times 2 will go on first, will give us 6, and then string 5 plus 6 will lead us into type coercion again. So our number 6 will be coerced into string 6, and both will be concatenated instead of added. So eventually we would have 56 in a string as our final answer. And this is also shows us that the plus operator can be used for addition and for concatenation depending on the values. Question 9. What are events in JavaScript? Events in JavaScript are action or occurrences that happen in the browser, such as clicks, typing on the keyboard, scrolling, user actions, loading a page, resizing a window. So JavaScript allows us as developers to listen for these events. Oh, as the user clicked, as the user scrolled, as the user resized, is the user dragging. Event listening is primarily the basic of web interaction, because it allows us listen to the action of the user, and then we can then do something in response to that. So when the user clicks a button, we can then do something. We can show them an alert. We can update their database. We can do something. What is the output of the following? For our output, we would have empty string, another string that contains array of object, and then the last one is going to be 0. Why? For the first one, array plus array empty array plus empty array will give us empty string. So in JavaScript, when we use the plus operand and one or both operands are not numbers, then JavaScript will convert them to string. So an empty array, when coerced to a string, will give us an empty string. So a string plus empty string will give us empty string. In the second operation, empty string plus empty object. In this case, too, both will be converted into strings. An empty array will give us will be coerced into an empty string, while an empty object will be coerced into this, a string that contains this, basically. So empty string plus this will give us this. And the last one, empty object plus empty array equals to 0. This one is a bit tricky, not just because of coercion, but because of how JavaScript parses the code. So when JavaScript sees an empty object at the start of a line, it treats it like a code block. So it treats it like a block of code. So what then eventually evaluates is the operand and the empty array. So the empty object is just treated like a block of code, and the plus operator with the empty array is what evaluates. The plus operator in this case now, because there is no left operand, now serves as a unary operator. Yes, it's confusing. Yeah, because there's nothing on the left side anymore. JavaScript is treating that as a block of code. So that plus operator would no longer be addition. It wouldn't serve as addition. It will become a unary plus operator. And an empty array is an empty string. An empty string that is being evaluated with an unary plus operator will equal to 0. So finally, we're going to get 0 as our final response. All of these behaviors are non-obvious behaviors that can help to test how well you understand the JavaScript coercion system. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notification for more tech and coding content. See you in my next video. Bye.